But someone had posted this, DM me this about this story about George St-Pierre. By the way, my all-time favorite, the GOAT fighter. I love George St-Pierre in this story and everything. Whatever, we can get into that later. But there's this particular story where he was working with a sports psychologist after he had lost a big fight to Matt Serra. And was that the first one he lost? I don't know. The first one, we only lost like 2 big championship fights. But anyways, one of the ones he lost to Matt Serra, and the sports psychologist gave him this brick to carry. Anyhow, let's let him tell it.
You're training with Ray Longo, you know, like
Yes.
he made your defense like a shield, you know, like that impenetrable shield.
Thank you.
And the only way I could get through you is by getting closer to you. And when I got closer, you cut me, I remember, with a punch that I never saw coming. It was coming outside of my field of vision. And then I got angry. I was like, man, like it was the first time that I.
So he's talking, I believe he's talking about the loss where Matt Serra, I think Matt Serra knocked him out. Yeah, I believe so. So he's talking about that.
Got rocked in my life. I was like, man, I'm going to give it back to him right away.
Yeah.
But it's not a good idea to jump into a slugfest when you're stunned.
Yeah, no, it's hard. You don't get your feet under you, you know?
Yeah, and then I got tag, and I ended up on my back. And I even tapped on strike, which I got a lot of criticism for, because he said, oh, he didn't went out on his shield. Because the thing is that you hit really hard, and I knew I was done. Like I was so dizzy, I didn't know where the floor was. I was like all messed up. So I wanted to save my brain and not take an unnecessary damage, you know. So
we could do a whole episode on brain injuries and fighting and stuff, but he's right. He's right. And it was, at the time, it was like, man, he tapped to strikes or whatever. He just gave up. But, you know, Matt Serra was a monster in that fight.
Then the referee separate us, and then after I came back to myself after, and then after all the critics, you know, everybody was saying, oh, he's weak mentally, he tap on strike, and he's not as good as we thought he was. He's not the fighter that we thought he was. It's just a short firework, and that's it. Now the floodgates is open. He's gonna lose all his confidence, and this thing gets to you a little bit. So
he caught a lot of shit for that fight. To set it up, he was on a tear, you know, and he was the chosen one and all this stuff. He wasn't gonna lose and all this stuff. And there he is in this fight with Matt Serra, who I think at the time was kind of like an outsider up and comer or whatever. And he gets rocked and loses. And everyone's always quick to be like, yeah, he's out.
I remember I used to work with a sports psychologist that came to help me, and he's very good. And to get back to the title, I needed to fight my way up again. I couldn't get my rematch right away. So, but I was obsessed of getting my rematch. I was obsessed, you know, because I'm obsessive compulsive a little bit by nature. So I wanted to get back.
He's admitted to having some OCD
right away. But the problem is I was focusing on the wrong thing. You were hunting my mind like constant. I was angry at myself. I wanted to get back and erase that mistake. And so the sports psychologist says to me, say, George, you carry a lot of bricks. So he made me wrote a name with a brick, carry a brick in my training bag with your name on it, Sarah. And I carry that in my bag weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was getting heavy, you know, because when you go in TriStar, you have to go up the stairs, and already my bag is heavy, but then with a brick inside, I was like, man,
so his trainer made
this is getting ridiculous. And I was calling him. I was like, can I get rid of the brick? It's ridiculous. He's like, no. And I kept carrying it. And like the week before the fight with Koscheck, because I was fighting Josh Koscheck, it was not for a title, but it was for a title contention. I was like, man,
that's something to remember. He lost that fight, and he had to fight his way back up, right? So he couldn't just. I don't know why they didn't. I guess it's because of the way he lost. I'm not really sure, but they made him fight his way back up, and he had 1 or 2 fights after that.
Telling him, I say, I'm very tired now, and can I get rid of the brick? He's like, yes. So I went near the Saint Laurent River, grabbed the brick, threw it in the river. And it sounds weird, but it's an action that I did that manifests that had a psychological manifestation on me, because I felt like relief, and I was able to only focus on Josh Koscheck. Because if I,
And spoiler alert, he beat the hell out of Josh Koscheck, and he went on to beat Matt Serra and get his title back. Crazy, incredible story.